Fumble through! Fumble through! Fumble through! Fumble through! Fumbling through, fumbling through. Fumbling through, fumbling through. Fumbling through!
Greetings, Gooby Goobers and Krabby Patties, and welcome to Fumble Through!
Fumble Through!
A podcast that lives in an island under the sea. That's right, we're back in the adventure playground that we call the Fumble Factory, and we are excited to be here playing Dungeons and Dragons! Double D! With all of you lovely people. Those of you that haven't caught up, we are playing the Dungeons and Dragons Adventure Dragon of Icespire Peak, the one straight out of the D&D Essentials kit. That's right, we have moved away from Pathfinder for a small amount of time so that we can investigate the role-playing game that started all. Thank you, Gary Gygax. We are not worthy. It doesn't mean that we have given up on our previous adventure, because we will return to that sooner rather than later, but we needed to prove a point to Brett that this game is better than he thinks it is. Speaking of somebody who is better than they think they are.
So this whole section where he throws to me is for me to talk about social media. And I would just like to think we've been doing this for over a year now, and we have not made any comments on this podcast so offensive that people have, commented on social media and complained.
All right.
And being that I'm trying to get people to come to social media and comment, that's about to change.
Yeah.
Why would you? Oh, that was a good run, guys.
Are you about to say you love Andrew Tate?
What colour's your Bugatti?
God, I hate that guy.
This one's for US viewers, listeners.
Okay.
Listeners.
Are you two listening?
That's why it's us.
So there is apparently, unfortunately, over 35,000 people a year die of gun violence in America.
Yeah, that's ridiculous, isn't it?
So I was thinking about that, right? And I think if you force every single person you're going to shoot to listen to our podcast first, we are going to be the biggest podcast in the world.
But I guess what we wouldn't have is repeat listens.
And there's our first complaint right there. Yeah. There's our first complaint.
See, here I thought you were going to say if we get every person who is going to shoot someone to put their guns down and bring swords and shields back. Like bring out back melee weapons and go back to that kind of hand-to-hand combat duel style.
That's the UFC, right?
Shooting.
That doesn't help us get listens, man.
It doesn't.
No, they got to force them. And then they can shoot.
And then they can shoot.
They can force them to listen, and then they can shoot.
Yeah.
Wow, this is on the cutting floor already, right?
Haven't they suffered enough?
There are millions of people in jails in the US. Why don't we just get them to listen? They've got nothing better to do.
Yeah.
That is an untapped resource.
That
right
really
there,
is.
right?
But hang on, it'd be only one listen for the whole jail?
Only one.
We can just pipe it through the jail.
Aim for the guys in solitary confinement.
Yeah.
Haven't they suffered enough?
Might be the only thing that gets them through.
Yeah.
So, Justin, that was called a yes and, what I did to Lindsay then.
What?
Where he offered something and I yes anded it.
What is that?
Yep.
So yes, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and let me have it.
All right. So, in tradition, I brought a Black Hops eggnog stout. We've had this one before.
Yes, we have. I'm so excited by this.
I loved it so much. We're going to do it again.
We're cracking it now?
A dry Irish
let's just
stout
talk to it.
with
It's an-
subtle notes of nutmeg, cinnamon.
This is only 1.7 standard drinks in the can.
I don't want to talk to it. I want it in my mouth.
But what about the...
These Black Hops guys, I've been listening to their podcast. They've got one too. It's not as good as ours.
Doesn't go to jails?
What classes do they play?
One of them's a brewer.
The other one's an innkeep.
And an accountant.
So this one has French brandy and vanilla bean. This is the one that got them famous. It's like one of the first ones they put out that kind of people went, oh, hello. And they started with a stout. If you can hear it on their podcast, they went, we're going to start with this stout because everyone else is doing IPAs and...
well, God bless you.
Yeah.
Because it is a delicious drop.
Shall we all click on the count of three? 1, 2, 3.
Oh, now,
God. Oh, Lindsay spurted everywhere.
Truth.
Wow. Once again, didn't you do that last time? Didn't somebody make that? he's away from the table.
You got stout coming out his nose.
Man, that is a money shot right there,
It
right?
went everywhere.
Oh, not on the D&D
not
book.
in his book. Oh no!
Gotcha.
So just for cards on the table, I've got a head cold at the moment, and I'm on some head cold drugs.
Yeah. So drinking alcohol, great idea.
Winner, chicken dinner, eggnog
Oh my
stout.
lord, that is
So
like
good.
Christmas
I mean, it
in a
is-
can,
I mean-
isn't it?
Oh my days.
Yeah. Black hops, that is a thing of beauty.
It's a belting 1.7 units per can. So what's the
It's
percentage on this?
less than the fire and ice we had last time.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, that's really nice.
Beautiful. I love it.
Well, now pick up your pauldron and put down your pickaxe because it's time for something we love to do every week. That's right, the dicey question. And if you have a dicey question that you would like to ask us, just send them through on our social media and we will put them on the list, especially if that question is, why does Lindsay have to be so controversial? I mean, that's a real big question that we're all going to ask one day. This dicey question, however, is a continuation from one that we asked last time. We spent all of last time talking about board games, so this time we're going to pivot slightly and ask the question, what are the best role-playing games you have ever experienced and why are they so magnificent? So let's talk about it. Who wants to go first?
Can I say Star Wars just to annoy Brett? I'll go first.
Okay.
Merp.
Merp.
Middle Earth role playing was actually my first experience with role play.
What age?
12, 13. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, just fantastic. Played a halfling.
Okay. Can you explain Merp for people
Wouldn't
that...
be a hobbit.
Sorry, yes, you're absolutely right there.
Yeah.
Good on you.
So
yeah.
what kind of system is it? Like, is it roll? Because I don't know Merps.
For my memory,
I've heard
because
of it, but-
yeah, I only played it for a very reasonable short spell. It was a 2d10 based system.
Okay.
Very similar to like D&D.
Okay.
Like it was quite loose. The way we played it was pretty loose on the rules. I mean, if I went back and looked at it again through the eyes of a
13-year-old.
40-year-old, I would
Yeah.
be like, yeah, we were just cutting corners left, right, and center, and the GM was making it up as he went along. But yeah, it was just based obviously in Middle Earth, and
Okay.
lots of fun. I just remember having lots of like stupid fun with it. It was fantastic.
So in the time of like, is this set before the ring, around the ring, or you just went, I'm just going to plonk it and doesn't matter
around
about,
the ring.
doesn't matter
and then
about,
you plonk it.
In the
it doesn't
ring,
matter
through
about
the
Bilbo
ring.
or Frodo or, like there's no particular time. It's just
So it was
in
around
Middle
about the
Earth.
time of that. So I mean, like, I'm pretty sure our GM put some Nazgul in there and things
Ooh,
like that.
cool.
So it was it was pretty cool. Yeah.
yeah, that's wicked cool.
Yeah, I had a set of returning electric daggers that I could throw, and yeah,
Electric.
yeah,
Yep.
electric
That
damage.
sounds like a 12-year-old role-playing game to me.
Yep. I mean, it was at a time when DS9 was pretty big as well.
What batteries
so
did they take?
We had they were dynamos. I just wind them up and then chuck
like
them.
like a shake weight.
Going skiing. Yeah, and like we ended up finding loads of mithril and forged a ship that we called the
that's cool.
Defiant that would fire out fireballs and like torpedoes and stuff like that. So it was
That's actually
a lot of
wicked
silliness,
cool.
but yeah, it's like looking back.
That's
at it,
just
it's
imagination
Yeah.
running
Oh, yeah.
wild right there,
100%,
which
yeah.
is so good. Any other game systems that you've engaged with that you like or that you've been through?
Really, I mean, Pathfinder is really the only other RPG that I've spent an awful lot of time with.
Okay.
Because most of my time over the years has been on tabletop gaming rather than RPGs. So
Okay.
yeah, that's about as much as I can contribute to that one. But
Okay. Yeah, that's good. What about you, Lindsay?
I've actually only ever played. I've only been playing tabletop RPGs for the last 5 years since I met you guys. Really,
And so that means because you played 5th edition though, haven't you?
Yeah,
You were playing that when we met you.
yeah. So yeah, I wanted to play because actually I'd been listening to Critical Role and I thought that sounds like fun. So I made my friends play.
I've never heard of Critical Role.
Yeah, they're this small podcast company. It's nothing to worry about. I forced my mates to get together for my 30th and we played. I DM'd a game of D&D and it was all right, but I prefer being a player.
Okay, a player.
Lots of computer RPGs. Big fan of Baldur's Gate and
okay.
stuff like that,
Yes.
but not.
does that qualify as what we were
tabletop.
talking about?
Well, I was trying to stay away from the computer game
Yeah.
world, but I guess they do kind of like, what
'Cause
do
I
you do
love-
when you
oh.
can't tabletop RPG? You get into that world. But maybe that's a time for a different... I know we've touched on computer games and video games and RPGs before, but
I think, yeah,
maybe
computer,
there's
computer
another...
RPGs is a whole
It's a
other
whole
realm, right?
niche
Yeah.
by itself,
I
isn't
lied.
it?
I have played another, and this is where you were going before. Star Wars.
Oh, yes.
The D20 Star Wars system.
Yeah, yeah.
It's pretty good.
It's an excellent game. It's an excellent game. What I love about that is like the one person that we play RPGs with that loves Star Wars, that's probably got more Star Wars crap than anyone else, is Brett. And we play that every time Brett can't play. That's our fill-in game.
It hasn't intentionally been that way. It just happens to unfold that way, doesn't it? Yes, it does.
Because you've never...
First 2 times by accident. Now you fuckers are doing it on purpose.
Because you've never played Star Wars, any of it, and we've played like I think 2 or 3 iterations of the rule books.
Different
of
rule
Star
sets
Wars.
you've
Yeah,
played.
yeah.
Let's make a vow, right?
Never to let Brett play Star Wars.
No, I was going to say
If we're still playing this game in 20 years' time, let's get married.
I'll meet you at the fountain.
I was going to say, come the next Star Wars Day,
Yep,
we do a Star Wars special where Brett can play.
a Christmas special.
Yeah,
May
Star
the
Wars
4th.
Christmas special.
May the 4th.
I don't want to do that.
Maybe
No?
I don't want to play with you guys. Maybe I've got another group playing Star Wars. The Jawas of...
It was brutal.
Joe, I won't.
It's such a brutal game as well.
Yeah.
It is pretty brutal.
Tears
It
were
is.
had at the table.
It is pretty brutal.
Characters died.
Yeah.
Quickly.
That's right.
Yep.
What about you, Brett?
I haven't played that much. D20 Modern was fun. I didn't mind that. Mm-hmm. And I liked it because of the way you could kind of mix the magic and the what's it called? Science. Yes.
Do you want to just explain D20 Modern?
So D20 Modern's kind of it's a D20 role playing game. You roll a D20,
Is it modern?
much like Pathfinder,
Jeez.
but set in the future.
It's Dungeons and Dragons in modern day.
Yeah, yeah.
So Starfinder.
No, not in the future, not in space.
okay,
so
right.
it's set like here and now with modern day technology, but there's an undercurrent of shadow creatures like elves and orcs, and so
And
they
it's not
exist
high
in
magic.
our world.
It's kind of low magic. It's not a lot
yeah.
of magic, but there's a lot of tech, so that kind of makes up for the magic
Okay.
stuff.
Yeah.
And you can kind of, you do computer checks when you're breaking into place, and there's a whole computer system where you set up firewalls and roll for stuff, and
Oh, it seems too much like real life.
pen tests happen. It's fine. So yeah, I like playing that game. I had a dwarf who had a fully tripped out truck with drones that flew out of it.
Oh, cool.
And he sat a block away and kind of did recon and sent drones in to kind of fly over and help out.
That game also brutal. So that game, I hold the record on most character deaths in one night.
One night.
So 3 character deaths in one night.
They were
on
just trying to
that
jump
game.
the same gap.
No, it wasn't a jump gap. There was a ladder involved.
I was gonna say, was there a bridge or a ladder involved? Yeah.
Failed climb checks for 2 of them. But yeah, but that game, because you would be very low powered, but then someone with a gun would come along, and guns are just ridiculously overpowered. A little like the old, Starfinder's a little bit like that, but D20 Modern definitely. When you've got a bow and arrow that's doing 1d8 and a gun that's doing 3d6, well, you've got some issues there, and that was an issue with that game for me, because why the hell would you go hand to hand? Like there was no
If you're a monk.
real reason. Yeah, but when you're only doing like 1d8 versus 3d6 of damage with someone with a shotgun.
And you have to close the range.
Yeah. So it ended up being that had its foibles, and probably some of the way we played it as well.
I didn't mind it as much as you might. You took issue with a few little moments of it that I didn't mind. I didn't have a problem with it.
Yeah.
Justin got hung up on some rules.
Some rules. Rules. What?
So specificity for Justin was lacking, I think.
Was there? Well, what I didn't like about it was the character trees. So every character, instead of being like a rogue or a cleric, you were a strong character or a dex character, and those characters had a tree system that you had to sort of choose from, and that was very restrictive.
Sounds amazing.
I thought it was.
I thought it was
it's
very cool.
It's okay, but if you want to break out of that and not, you want to blend in some other stuff, it became very corral-y kind of stuff.
But doesn't that stop people being jack of all trades then? You actually have to be quite specialised in your role?
Yes, it does, but it also stops you from really customizing your character a little bit. Like, you can never be jack of all trades in that character.
Not like
that
4th
game.
edition
No.
D&D where it was like you just were good at everything.
Yeah, yeah.
What ended up happening was Dex was king because shooting and
Yeah.
armor class.
They were called speed characters, or fast characters. But there was an edition of that called D20 Future, which I actually really loved.
So that was more like Starfighter,
So
was it?
that's more like Starfinder.
Okay.
So that was, and I GM'd a campaign of that. I created like my own world and all that kind of stuff for that one. But that was, I quite liked that because there were spaceships involved, and being in space, it made a bit more sense. But also, it teched up the melee weapon. So instead of having just a sword, you had like a vibro blade.
Yeah.
And so the vibro blade upped the damage of that. So it made becoming a melee character. Why are you laughing? Because I said vibro blade.
Just the way you said it, Justin.
Yeah.
Or you looked in my eye.
Yes. What were you going to say, Lindsay?
I just because he looked around and no one was biting that vibro blade. I'm like,
No, I was trying not to
Does he
look at
not know
anybody.
what a vibro
I looked
blade
to my
is?
left and I looked to my right and I was like, no, I can't look at anybody around the table right now just in case. Brett was the last direction I looked because usually Brett's the one that's staring at me when something like that happens.
Yeah. So, Brett, is there anything other? So, D20 Modern, what else? What other
I haven't
things have
played
you...
many other RPG, like tabletop
You,
RPGs.
you arrived when we started playing
We were at
together
3.5.
3.5. That was really your first interaction. And
Yeah.
then since then, we've done D20 Modern, D20 Future.
Is that because I mean, like, I'm talking to a number of people. Like 3.5 was,
the best one.
yeah. I mean, how is that for you coming into all these other systems? Like when you've got-
3.5 is very similar to Pathfinder.
Yeah.
So Pathfinder was the kind of
3.75.
3.75. Yeah, it was the next iteration of what 3.5 is. So while D&D pivoted and went to 4th edition, Pathfinder then went, look, we're going to take the 3.5 rules and we're going to
hone it a little bit.
Yeah, that's right. So essentially Pathfinder is the same rule set. You can use 3.5 stuff and the version 3 stuff with Pathfinder.
Imagine
with
being
little
able to play
manipulation.
Pathfinder, that excellent rule set that is really robust, in the Dungeons and Dragons world. How cool would that be?
And there were great
Oh, that's
books.
where I started.
Yeah. I do love.
What happens is they get a bit unwieldy. They keep releasing stuff and then it gets a bit broken. So we got to a place where there was reserve feats where as long as I had a 4th level fireball in my kit, I could cast a powered down fireball.
Yeah, we
at
broke
will.
those rules a lot.
And I was a sorcerer, so I always had a fireball. As long as I didn't expend all of my slots, I always had a fireball. So I was doing 3d6 fireballs at will. Like, going through the snow mountains, just blazing a trail.
Setting
through
it
the
afire.
park.
Yeah, that's right. So, and we'd played it for long enough that we knew the ins and outs, and we could make pretty broken characters, but we could make other characters. Like we had some really interesting party makeups, and during that time,
You
as
guys
well.
are pretty much like that with Pathfinder now. That's one of the things. I'm getting to the point now. Like my latest character is
just sleep strikes stuff.
That's
Is
really
that
interesting.
what it
That's an
does?
interesting idea.
Yeah.
You should do that.
It's so
Never seen that done effectively.
yeah, it's true. That's true. So yeah, so some honourable mentions there of some other stuff. I guess for me in the role playing, I've played quite a few things. Dungeons and Dragons definitely has been the core of my belief system. I love the fantasy role playing world. So me deviating from that is never a long term prospect because I just want to come back to dragons. It's like books I read. If they don't have dragons in them, I don't want to read them. But I have played a fair bit of Vampire the Masquerade as well.
I've always wanted to play
So
Masquerade.
I played a lot of that early on in my D&D kind of career when
is
I
that
was
the
getting
vampires
into
and
that.
werewolves one?
The vampires and werewolves. So there's vampires, werewolves, and
It's like
mages.
Twilight, right?
Yeah, it's exactly like Twilight. But yeah, that was pretty interesting. But I played that. I didn't engage with that because I couldn't find a group back then. So I engaged with that in chat rooms and stuff. So I think I got a very different experience because it was back in the early days of chat rooms, logging in and playing with people, but playing with people without the video interface that you would probably play with people now. It was all chat stuff. But it was really cool, and I really liked it. Other things I've loved. We there was a superhero one called Mutants and Masterminds that came out, and there was 2 iterations of that. We played the first one, which did have broken. If you played the speedster character, you could kill everything. Just even reading the rules, you just went, man, why would you never want to play that? But what you could do is you could take your character and you could have different powers, and you could basically think of any superhero and kind of make those powers happen. So, I think I played a Green Lantern type character at one point, but then you could have characters that fly, and you could say, okay, I can create these things, but then I can have super strength, or I can be super dense, or be super smart, something along those lines. So it was kind of fun.
Could you throw a shield that was non-magical and have it return back?
You could have a shield that was non-magical and have it return to you, but I don't understand why you would do that.
But what a ridiculous superpower, being super dense. Why would you be super dense?
Super dense?
Yeah,
as
like
in
no
stupid.
intelligence. Yeah, super dense and super smart.
Yeah, like Hulk. So
Like, true, I suppose, yeah. Have you ever played Shadowrun?
Shadowrun is as close to D20 Modern.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so those kind of games are very similar to each other. I've never played the actual Shadowrun game.
Did they do a computer game of Shadowrun?
Yeah,
Yeah, there's
got
a
heaps,
computer
and they're
game of
great.
Shadowrun.
Yeah.
Is it good?
Really good. Yeah.
Like a long time ago that came out.
Yeah, they're quite a
Because
while.
I remember seeing Shadowrun on the computer games.
I think there's like 6 of them, to be honest. But they're really good. I've played them all.
Yeah. I mean, the other things like Starfinder, I did give that a go. And Starfinder, I wish that we'd spent a little. Yeah, we did a bit of. I don't think you were around when we did Starfinder. I think you were.
You guys did one game, I think, didn't you?
Or a bit, but I also played at the Pathfinder Society.
Oh,
I
you
played,
did, yes.
I
Yeah,
played
that's true.
Starfinder
Yeah,
with Pathfinder
yeah.
Society as
Yeah.
well. So, but I quite like that. But I would love to get into that a little bit more. What disappointed me was.
Space Combat, wasn't it?
Well, that game's I wanted it to be like you could take your Pathfinder character and you could transport that character with that rule set into space. And the 2 systems would seamlessly kind of mingle with each other. And then you could have, like, there's a thing called Spelljammer out there, which is a space wizards and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I wanted a caster that you could go, okay, I came from the Pathfinder world. Now I'm in space shooting fireballs at that guy, and that guy's shooting a laser beam at me. And because they are so close to each other, but yet they're just far enough away in rule set that it just doesn't meld.
One of the things I loved in that book, though, was the background.
Oh,
was
my-
fantastically thought out. And
so
the
nice.
depth to
The
it was
book
brilliant.
is beautiful
Yeah.
as well. The artwork in
Yeah.
it, the way they've got the new races in it, it is really a nicely dense.
Have you seen the
thing.
extended race book?
Yes.
It is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, there's like 100 or something new races you can play. And
It's
full on.
very, very cool.
There is new 5e Space Jam has just come out.
yeah.
That's
And
what- yeah.
So
That might be what you're after.
Well, the reviews aren't great on that. And that's why I'm seeing it.
I'm saying it might be what Justin is after.
Oh, true.
You know.
I would be more than happy to give Starfinder a crack.
Where I get confused in that is the whole premise that magic is just science we don't understand. That if you're in the future, then we understand the science. So just figure out the science.
Yeah.
Don't let it be magic anymore.
Well, that's true.
Divine, however, divine magic.
Well, I was going to say, how do you do that when you got a fireball coming at your hand? How do you get science around that?
Midi-chlorians.
Good answer.
It's science I don't understand. It could be nanites.
Chemical sweat. What? Have you not watched Hero Academia? He has explosive sweat.
Yeah, fair enough. That works. So I would love to hear what other people's experiences of role-playing games are, because, I mean, we haven't talked about 4th edition, 5th edition, all of those kinds of things. Brett, I mean, and this whole thing is really around exploring different editions and what good things they have. And obviously nothing's ever going to be perfect, otherwise they'll just stop there. But I want to know, like, what is the best for us as well? Because your play style comes into it. Like, are you a miniatures player? Are you a role player? Do you want it in your mind? You know, all that kind of stuff.
You're 100% wrong there. If
What?
it was perfect, they will still make it because they want more money.
You mean if it was perfect, they would still
They'd
do
still
another
fuck it up.
version and change
Yep.
it and all that kind of stuff? Yeah.
I go 4th edition.
Yeah, 4th edition got panned. I get it, but I also don't think it was that bad. It had its problems.
What was the main complaint about it?
It became very computer game. When you come from 3.5, where it's very specific and niche, and everyone has to work together. When you go like, oh, I've got a healing power, you've got a healing power, you've got a healing power, I've got a strength power, you've got a strength power. Everyone. So they did make it a little more computer gamey.
It was World of Warcraft.
Yeah,
Oh,
a little
okay.
World of Warcraft. That was the big kind of thing. But when you played it, it didn't play out as much of that as
Well,
people
it depends on
thought.
if you're doing tactical gaming or role playing and how you're playing that game.
Well,
right?
that's all set by the DM, right?
Yeah,
Well, and the
it did-
players.
Yeah,
And
well, yeah,
how
yeah.
much the players jump in, right?
It just, people went, I'm in 3.5 and I'm loving it. And then they went to 4th edition. It was such a departure from that. I think that was the big issue, the light and shade of those two editions. I think, 4th edition had come out in a different context at a different time. It probably wouldn't have been so badly received. But I get it. But at the time I was angry that they were moving from 3.5 anyway, which is why we moved to Pathfinder.
Well, they pulled out 4th edition because Pathfinder had come out as a response to 3.5 and they wanted to get
So
the
they wanted
market
the
share
distance.
back.
Yeah, they wanted the distance.
But they had to change it substantially to
Yeah.
distance themselves from
yeah,
Pathfinder.
change the open game license and all that.
all of
kind
that stuff. So,
Yeah. And I mean, we can only suppose
there
these
was
things. We're not
context at play
in
there.
the business.
A friend of mine played Kids on Bikes. Kids,
Oh, I've got a copy of that.
Is
yeah.
it? And she loved
it's
it.
a
She
pamphlet. It's
loved
such a simple
it.
rule
She
set,
thought
yeah.
it was so much fun. She kept raving about it. So maybe one day we pick that one up too.
Yeah.
Nice.
Too easy.
There's also a whole heap of really awesome one-page rules where they're like, I think that's actually their website, where they're like
Hero Quest.
really simple, like one-page setup. So there's
Yeah.
one like Bears and Bandits or something like that.
Smoky.
Where you basically, it's a D6 game and you roll to see what kind of bear you are, you roll to see what kind of criminal you are, and you got to try and constantly balance between the bear and the criminal side of you. And if you go too much bear, you turn feral and just run off into the wild. But if you go too much criminal, then you get arrested.
Interesting.
It's random, but it sounds fun.
Doesn't sound like enough rules for me.
You roll a D6 and you get to wear that kind of hat.
The Kids on Bikes thing's good because if you're a big fan of things like Stranger Things, E.T., Goonies, those sorts of things, that's the whole premise of that kind of role-playing game.
Okay.
Goonies RPG. Let's do it.
You're a group of adolescents and young people trying to fix a problem in a local town that the adults don't
Lock
have an
and
idea of.
key.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Paper Girls. That's how that
Yeah.
starts. So, yeah. Excellent. So, look, I mean, you talked about pamphlets before and quick rule sets, and I guess that's how Brett views the game we're about to play right now, 5th edition. And, so,
Well, there used to be a lot more pages in my book, but I had to go to the toilet.
so
Hurts me to my soul.
it is a beautiful book.
It is a beautiful book.
So look, last time we started this I Spy Peak thing, and every time I say it, it sounds like I Spy to me.
Yeah, that was why I
Spire Peak. I Spire.
I just
Peak.
every time you say it, I want to say with my little eye.
Yeah, I'm going to have to put a pause. Ice Spire with my little eye. It's
Could you just rename it Frozen
said
Spire?
fire.
Frost Spire Peak.
yeah, no, Ice Spire. I don't deviate from
Essentials
rules.
kit. Just say the essentials kit.
This
Ice Peak Spire.
Anyway,
The
back to
Essentials
that.
Peak.
So last time we did a bit of characters. We still don't really know what characters you are playing. What we do know is that we have around this table a Ganassi, an Arakukra.
We had to clarify the pronunciation of
We
that.
went to Google and pressed a button and it told us.
And it wasn't what you just said.
Wasn't it? What was it?
Genasi.
Janasi. A Janasi. Like Janasi. Oh, that's right, because I kept
He's an
playing
arsey
it.
Janasi.
Janasi's getting
Yeah.
arsey.
Emphasis on the na.
Yeah, and Arakukra, a bird person, and we have what are you again?
Halfling.
Oh.
An author.
So, and then,
A Petspium.
and then on top of that, I mean, we have a halfling bard, an Arakukra sorcerer, and a Janasi. I'm going to stuff that up so
Jen.
much.
Just call me Jen. I'm one of the Jens.
A Janasi. What were you again?
I'm a Earth
Earth Janasi.
Genasi.
Yeah, that's a race.
and a barbarian.
A barbarian, that's right.
If you get all 5 Genasi together, can you summon Captain
4.
Planet
There's
Genasi?
4.
No, there's the green one.
The hearts have all died.
They become the avatar.
I'll be the head.
Yeah. So today we want to just talk a little bit about some the next of the character creations, and then we want to get playing because I want to see these characters in action. I want to learn your names. I want to see who you are. So the next section in the character creation section is your background. So tell us a little bit about your background. So we'll start with you, Janasi Head.
Right. So, do you know my dude's name?
No, I don't think we have revealed names yet, have we?
Well, I won't reveal it just yet then.
Oh, okay. But wait, there's more.
Why did you go to me first? Fucking hell. My dude grew up, Janasi are not known for being in the world, and they're quite rare. Ostracized, moved around a bit, found himself in the military, has a military background.
Oh, okay.
There's a story there if you want it, but I don't need to go into that now, do I? Nah. He was a sergeant in the military. He was on an officer track. He just found his way in there because it was the only place that would accept him.
I love it. I don't need to go into that. He was a sergeant in the military. It was a rainy day.
Lost his children.
The haze
He's seeking
was-
revenge.
They were killed in a shooting accident
so
where
you-
somebody
you-
forced to listen to a podcast.
I say that because in the background section, it does say other soldiers loyal to your former military organisation still recognise your authority and influence.
You just beat me to the pip every time.
So what I had to do then was go and read up about different military organisations.
Yeah.
and
What
places
military
they worked.
organisation was
So
it?
he was part of the Company of the Seeing Dawn.
Okay.
Is
that
in-
Imi-
in-
Seeing
Imitate?
dawn or seen
from
dawn?
Chondath, there is a Company of the Singing Dawn.
Lathander?
And he was in the Spears of Dawn subset of the subgroup of the thing. He was a sergeant of the Spears of Dawn at Chondath, wherever
Okay,
that
yes,
near the
All right, so the background has been fleshed out on that side of the table. We're going to move on. Luke, what background have you chosen?
he's got jet black eyes.
Okay. What background have you chosen, Luke?
Okay, so Arakukra generally live in communities on their own, isolated
Yep.
from other aspects of the realms and things like that. So, because my guy's a sorcerer with of the dragon
Your bird.
but yes, he identifies as a guy.
All right.
Is because he's a sorcerer and was born with a certain coloration, it was unusual.
Yep.
He's going to have been. I'm going to go with a kind of ostracized from the community.
Okay.
But, so I'm drawn to the hermit
Okay,
background, but I'm
nice.
going to actually roll it now.
What? As in roll the
Roll the
backgrounds
tables. I'm
and
going to go with the
tables?
tables now. I'm going to
Okay.
roll the tables
All
and
right,
see
we're
how we
gonna-
get.
I love this
It
idea.
looks like there's more info in the book than there is online.
Yes, there is.
you know,
On D&D Beyond, you mean?
I love this
Yeah,
idea
there's
so much.
substantial
I
more.
think
Yeah.
be prepared because I think everyone else is going to have to roll. That's such a great idea. So Brett, get those
So
dice
here we go.
out. You are going
D8.
into the criminal background.
Here we go, D8. Okay,
Yeah,
so
right.
I'm rolling. So I'm in the hermit section here
Yep.
on page 134 of the player's handbook. The D8 table here for life of seclusion. Oh, I've rolled an 8. Let's see
Oh, what
an
does that
eight-
do?
An 8 gets me. I was a pilgrim in search of a person, place, or relic of spiritual significance.
Oh, okay. So
Shit
how
that
might
off.
that
I'm going
work?
to go. No, good.
How might that work? Because I for one now we have it on record. Luke read a rule book.
I'm literally on the fly as I'm actually recording. So okay, so
Out loud.
let's go with. Oh, so I'm on a pilgrimage.
Yeah, what kind of pilgrimage?
So hang on. So let's go with. I'm still going to be ostracized from my community. Mm-hmm. Still going to be in obviously in a life of seclusion, and I'm looking to find out more about my origin.
okay,
I think.
like the origin of you and
Yeah.
your
So my
the
so
weird
the reason
colouring.
why I've been cursed or blessed with
Yep.
this ability of sorcery. So yeah. I'm in search of. Let's think about this. Do I want to have searching for a solution to remove it or understand its significance? Yeah, let's go with significance. I reckon that sounds
Okay.
better.
All
Understand how to figure its significance.
Okay.
That's yeah. All right. So Let's go. All right, so now we're going to roll on the just the background. That was what you wanted, but you don't want personality traits.
No,
yet.
let's do personality traits
All right,
while we're
let's get
here.
personality traits as well.
If we're going to do some rolling, let's roll them. So, Brett, get your dice out. You're
is
going to
there
be
a
next. And then
barbarian?
we're
There
going to go
is.
to you, Lindsay.
Well,
let's do that.
hang on.
Right.
No, well, this is the thing. Hang on a minute there, Brett. Because
All right.
I have the player's handbook, which will give you the background, so we can do all the rolls on the table for
All right.
the criminal. But then I have Xanathar's
Criminal. Why am I a criminal all of a sudden?
Oh,
Soldier.
that's what you said.
What?
You said criminal.
No, military.
Oh, okay. Sorry, soldier one then. Yeah. Sorry, I'm sure you.
Oh
said
no,
criminal.
I've got the book open to criminal. That's why I read it. I'm shutting my book because I'm being influenced by my rule
Smooth
book.
criminal.
I've also got Xanathar's Guide to Everything, which has sections on all the classes with additional roles that I can make.
Oh, all right.
Or any one of us can make. So
Okay.
if you
All
want,
right,
if you want
let's
to get
hear it.
involved in that action, let's
do that.
Let's
Okay,
do that.
so he's on a
personality
pilgrimage.
traits. Here we go. On a pilgrimage. Personality number 2. I am utterly serene even in the face of disaster.
Oh, nice.
That works well for me because our Kukra, I have a feeling we're going to get into some enclosed spaces.
Yeah.
And our Kukra find enclosed spaces incredibly
They're
stressful
very
because they like to
claustrophobic.
be out in the open and all that.
Yeah.
So that works really well for me. So utterly serene.
Okay.
I like this. This is a good start so far. So, all right.
How come you've highlighted those ones already?
Okay, so ideals. Oh, number 8 on that one as well. No, that's a D6. Oh, already stuffed that one up. Sorry. 3. Free thinking, inquiry, and curiosity are the pillars of progress.
Inquiry and curiosity.
Yeah,
Wow.
free
thinking.
thinking. Here we go.
Pilgrimage.
That's very unusual, I think.
Free thinking.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think that's very unusual for an
Searching
Arakukra,
for-
actually.
Hey, man.
Well, they all
like,
play
yo,
together.
I'm
will,
an
they will.
Arakukra, man.
All right, let's see if we can unstabilize this character build so far. All right, so let's go for the bond.
James.
Number 5. Should my discovery come to light, it could bring ruin to the world.
Oh.
Well, the thing you're searching for.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's very cool.
and you know that?
No. Well, maybe. Well, that could be a nice little play.
Yeah.
That's very cool, too.
All right.
But maybe you don't care because
Maybe I
you.
don't. Maybe I'm just in.
'cause you're so
maybe,
ostracized.
Yeah, maybe I was warned. Maybe I was warned. Yeah, I like that. I'm warned by my community that to search out any information about this would
So you
bring
can stop it
disaster
or
and-
something.
Yeah, it would bring disaster.
and that's
so-
why they've kicked you out.
That's right, because they think,
Because
yeah. I'm
you
getting
went,
too
well,
inquisitive.
screw you, I'm going to do it anyway.
Don't play my character, Lindsay.
Let me tell you a story about a young sorcerer called Raceland who searched out the dragon orb. You heard that as a child, and then, you know.
All right, let's go for that. All right, flaw number 2. I harbour dark, bloodthirsty thoughts that may my isolation and meditation fail to quell.
Hey, sounds
So a little
serene.
Jekyll and Hyde going on here.
Sounds
All
Utterly
right.
serene death
I'm
magnet.
just going to go with the.
So he's a
So
psychopath.
like, there's a moment there. I guess, like, I'm thinking of how I would play that as like the serenity is on the surface, and you're like, just calm
serenity.
down, calm down.
Nice.
Like, because you've got this bubbling anger
Yeah.
behind you. And,
Yeah, I
you
like that.
know.
And that works well with the whole idea, like, because when our crew are getting close and things like that, they get very visceral
Yeah.
and very aggressive.
Talons
Because-
out.
Yeah. So that I like that. That's
Yeah,
good.
that's very cool.
Do you want me to keep going on the sorcerer's
sure.
tables as well? All right. So arcane
Sorcerer.
origin, we don't have to roll for that because we're already going with the dragon ancestry,
sure.
which will ultimately.
Yep, choices made.
Yeah. So reactions.
Yep.
So this is where you're looking at how your character as a sorcerer, how the when I'm using magic, how it manifests visually or.
Cool.
On my personage. So roll a d6 and I get a 2. So your powers cause destruction and even death when they become evident, and you are treated as a criminal. Fantastic! This is going
That's
so
why I
well.
said criminal before.
Criminal. There we go.
Oh, so when you lose control,
Oh, wow. Okay.
when I go death blossom,
yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
Okay. All right.
treated as a criminal.
And
Treated as a criminal.
Is there another table there?
Yeah, there's more.
Oh, how many more
This is-
tables?
oh,
This is
there's loads, man.
great.
This is what
You
this is
said
what-
there were no
this is
rules.
This is what 5e is all
amazing.
about. It's
Yeah.
all
Fun.
about the character,
Yeah.
right?
this
I
is
like
quite
this.
fun.
So I'm going to go for a
I mean, it's
super-
prescriptive. You don't have to do any work yourself, but it's quite fun.
Actually, I think there is a lot more work because you got to link these. You
This
gotta
is actually
get a-
it
draw a
started
line.
really well, and now some
It's getting
spanners have been
darker.
thrown in, right?
It started real positive,
That's right.
and there's a real evil undercurrent.
Okay, so supernatural mark.
Yep.
So sorcerer at rest is almost indistinguishable from a normal person. It's only when they use. Oh, this is the bit where they use their magic and they have an actual
Yeah, okay.
manifestation. Sorry,
I've
I
met
thought
that
that was
guy
the
before.
reactions. Yeah.
Supernatural mark.
Mark.
Number 5.
Are you struggling
That's
to count?
sad. No, that's sad. There were some really cool ones on this list. Let me read So your eyes are a natural color.
Yeah.
You have an extra toe on one foot.
Okay.
One of your ears is noticeably larger than
You
the
don't
other.
have ears.
No, I know. So the one I've actually rolled was the number 5, which is you wrinkle your nose repeatedly while you are chewing.
You don't have a nose.
I know.
You have a beak. You have a beak with wrinkles.
Yeah. So my beak wrinkles.
All right. No.
You want to do again?
How many choices are on that list?
6.
That's pretty shit list.
It's pretty
It's
limited,
a pretty
right?
shit list.
So
You've got a
right.
big ear. Like if it was like your cloacas at the front, then I'd be giving it to you fine. But a
Yeah,
big
but-
ear.
Yeah, but that's
I'm searching for a 6-fingered man.
I think that there's
Okay,
Gotta be
how about
something,
you
man.
take that one? So like
and meld it
meld
to something.
it. So
yeah,
like
something beak
something happens when you eat.
Yeah.
Wrinkle.
Yeah, there's just seeds everywhere. Like
Something.
the
Hang on.
he sheds seeds and eats like
Or it's
like a muppet.
You know when toucans like they eat, they do that.
Yeah.
Wah, 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 wah. Like when your beak claps together.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I've got it. We'll get to that.
Okay. All right. What's next?
I've just
and
seen
now
Luke be
signs-
inspired.
Signs of sorcery. So when I'm about to actually use my magic. Oh, number 6 on that one. So illusionary blue flames wreath your head as you begin your casting.
Oh,
that's the one I was
that's
thinking about.
very cool.
Blue
That's
flames.
Very cool.
right. And how many more we got?
What other places could those blue flames wreath on that
Yeah.
list?
I don't think birds have scrotums, do they? That's it. I'm done. So,
Okay. Wow. All right. Talk Brett through it. Let's go.
All right. So
All right.
you wanted the soldier one, right? Soldier boy.
I'm a soldier boy.
Soldier boy.
Okay. So hermit, sage,
Mrs. Brown, you've got a
sailor.
lovely
You don't want to be a
daughter.
sailor in the navy. Okay. So, now you see, this might actually. Well, Brett, you can do this or not, I guess, at the end of the day, because you already had some ideas about what you wanted to do. So,
No, I just did
No,
it.
tell him what to roll.
okay.
that's
So
fine.
you're
Read it.
rolling a D8
Okay.
Yeah.
Roll a d8.
for your speciality. So during your time as a soldier, you have a specific role.
3.
3 is infantry.
That sounds right.
Infantry. Nice.
Okay, so just so characteristics. So your first one's a personality trait. So D8 again.
2.
I'm haunted by memories of war. I can't get the images of violence out of my mind.
Okay. Nice.
So spell memories.
No, that's nice. Like why you would connect with a character who's serene as well. Maybe that's
Haunted
how
by
you connect.
memories of
And
war. What was the
bloodthirsty.
second bit? What was the second bit?
Sorry, hang on.
Haunted by memories of war.
Of war. I can't get images of violence out of my mind.
Yep.
Send you into a rage.
Yeah. Yeah. What's next?
So ideal now is a D6.
1.
Greater good. Our lot is to lay down our lives in defense of others.
Ooh.
Good alignment.
Yeah. Are you alignment? Something we'll get to.
Yep.
Okay.
And now your bond.
James.
What's that? What are we rolling?
D6.
6.
Is I fight for those who cannot fight for themselves.
Okay.
Right. And I killed them.
And now your flaw, which is another D6.
1.
The monstrous enemy we faced in battle still leaves me quivering with fear.
Ooh.
Do
You
it-
should have to
do it
roll
for the monster.
That'd be great.
Nah. I don't know.
I don't
There's
have a table for
that. We'll figure that one out in due time. Where's your sense of adventure? It's rolling down my leg and forming a puddle in my shoe.
So, did you want to do this as well?
I've got it in front of me.
You've got it in front of you.
Okay, Lindsay. I think Lindsay's. Are they different
Hang on.
tables?
Did you want to do the barbarian thing?
I will. Yeah, I will.
Let's have a
But
look.
before we go on, I've been in D&D Beyond, and that is very limited compared to what the books are.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
D&D Beyond only has the
Base.
because
Yeah.
there's
You've
only
got-
one background you can select, if I recall.
Yeah, you got to buy D&D Beyond expansion books.
D&D Beyond is a money-making whore.
Whoa. Okay, I wouldn't go that far.
We don't slut shame in this group. Sorry. Okay, so you want to do the barbarian bit
Yep.
now then?
Yep.
Yep. So okay, so personal totems is one of them. If you're interested in that, barbarians tend to travel light, carrying little in the way of personal effects on necessary gear. Personal totem. This is might be associated with the barbarian spirit.
Right,
animal.
roll.
So it is a D6.
A 4.
A 4, a small leather pouch holding 3 stones.
Ooh.
That represent your ancestors.
3.
Our ancestors.
are my ancestors.
Actually, that's very
That's
cool.
brilliant. Do that.
That's very
a
cool.
piece of your ancestors. Nice. Okay, next one is tattoos. So
Ooh,
D6
nice.
on tattoos.
Well, they wouldn't be
How do you
tattooed.
tattoo a-
That'd be
paint?
chisel
Like
marks.
chiseled in, like
Just-
etched.
Look at some
Etchu.
You're engraved.
etched
street art.
Yeah.
What is it?
D6.
D6.
Come and spray paint it in.
3.
3 is the symbols of your clan are displayed in viney patterns along your arms. Superstitions, D6.
Ooh. Wash your face and hands.
4.
4 is magical things bring trouble, never sleep with a magic object within 10 feet of you.
Magical things bring trouble. Wow. Good thing you're not a sorcerer. All right. Any more?
That's it. Yeah.
That's it. Okay. So we'll leave Brett to mull on that one now. Moving over to Lindsay. Lindsay, you haven't told us what your character background is. So halfling bard with
I am an entertainer.
Oh,
Oh, you
it's a
put
real
the anus in
departure.
entertainers.
So I'm not going to roll on my entertainment routines because
Okay.
I kind of have an idea for that.
Sure.
So I'm a author
Okay.
by trade. I've been studying at one of the new Bard schools, the Herald Bard School, and I've been doing author. And I'm quite renowned as an author. People know me.
Do you know what that Bard school is? Is it BU, Bard University? Go Bulldogs!
He said it was the Herald
Yeah,
School.
it's the Herald.
It's the daytime one, the Herald Sun.
Yeah.
The Herald HBU.
So basically, I'm renowned for writing a very specific type of literature, and
Okay.
I'm wanting to branch out from that and get into more fantasy, high epic, sagas.
Okay, sure.
So it's
Say no more.
so my original works were under a nom de plume,
Yeah, okay.
and now I'm going to start writing under my my real name.
Okay, all right.
But I will roll on the personality traits and
Okay.
stuff because that is fun.
Yeah, let's see.
7. I'll settle for nothing less than perfection.
Ooh, okay, that's very
Oh,
nice
that
for a
works really
bard.
well,
Yeah,
right?
that works really well.
Perfection.
I just imagine like a little halfling with inked fingers all the time from scribbling things out.
Okay, my ideal. Beauty. When I perform, I make the world better than it was.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And my bond. My instrument is my most treasured possession, and it reminds me of someone I love. So
Okay.
I'd say for me, that'd be like a quill.
A quill or an ink pot or...
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Okay.
And finally,
or
my
a particular feather.
yeah, from Arakruka friend.
Oh, actually, that's beautiful.
Yeah,
Actually,
nice.
that's very cool.
And for my flaw,
A magic pen.
Imagine if it's like he's got an Arakruka feather of a quill, but the quill is down to a nub and he needs another feather so that he can keep writing.
a scandal prevents me from ever going home again.
Oh,
That kind of trouble seems to follow me around.
okay. All right. That's okay.
What stuff's in that
So
bard?
so on the bard in here, I don't know that there's going to be much you're going to want to do because you've obviously got your idea fleshed out already. So the first one is your defining works.
I've got that.
Yeah,
I've
and
got them written down and everything.
Next one is your instruments. You don't need that.
Don't need that.
But then the last one is actually embarrassments.
Oh, okay. I love it.
All right, what am I rolling for
Yeah.
that?
So that's is that the flaws type of thing
I
that
guess
the other
so.
characters
yeah.
have?
So, hang on.
okay.
So,
All right.
so the ways that a performance can go wrong are varied as a fish in the sea. No matter what sort of disaster might occur, however, a bard has the courage and the confidence to rebound from it. Either pressing on with the show, if possible, or promising to come back tomorrow with a new performance that guarantees to please.
Oh, okay.
So it's a D6. Go for it.
5.
5. The time on stage when your wig caught fire and you threw it down, which set fire to the stage.
That's cool. That's pretty cool. That
Okay.
is pretty cool. Okay.
I bloody love these books.
Yeah, really great. That is really cool. Okay, so look, I guess we're at a point now where I just want to see these characters come to life. We've talked about the classes, we've given them a bit of life. There's all this kind of stuff, but I guess the last bit for me as a GM right here, right now is how are you guys connected? Do you know each other? Are we going to have a connection before we start this? Is there going to be a moment like you've just heard backgrounds? Is there some way you can utilize that to create a little story? Do you want to know each other? Do you want to meet cute as part of the introduction, or do you just want to jump straight into the adventure? Like where are we? How do we kind of go here? So what are you? Anyone thoughts?
I think I have a way for me and Brett to kind of know each other.
Okay, what is it?
Being that I'm kind of, well-renowned, I probably need some protection from my adoring fans.
Oh, from a barbarian.
Because it's kind of a point in my thing that people know me and love me, and I have some, trinkets of, adoring fans.
From the
and
Three
stuff.
Rock Bodyguard Guild.
Yeah. So
I wonder if the Company of the Singing Dawn might have sought out a
maybe.
famous bardic person to
Company of Singing Dawn. I love it.
lay his life on the line for, given he lays down his life in defense of others and fights for those who cannot fight for themselves.
I think this might work really well.
He's scared, though. The monster he's scared of is bards.
Flaming bards.
Nice.
The flaming
Oh my
bard.
God. Every time his head reefs in frame, it's just going to remind me of my embarrassment.
Love it. Oh, that's beautiful. So you two maybe have been together. Do you think you would have been together for a long period of time, a short period of time? Is this your first adventure together? Is this because we are going to start in a place, and there's a chance that you've been traveling from probably a bigger city to this very small country?
I would think he's done Lindsay's character's done a military tour, and I've just picked up a job, drummed out, left the military organisation and went, there's a bit of work there.
entertain the troops. Hello, boys.
Having no idea what your previous literature was about, and maybe that's what anchored it, and you're moving away from, I don't know.
And
It could work.
Okay.
all right. So, but long time, short time.
Short time.
Short time. So you're
We've still got more
kind
to
of
find out,
fairly
haven't we? Yeah.
new in each other's
I'd say a few
acquaintance.
months, but it'd be on the
Or maybe,
on the road.
yeah, so you like a
travelling.
trip,
Yeah.
a traveling companionship
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
what you've got. Okay. How do we bring in an Arakukra? Do you want to be part of this at the beginning?
I was
or-
wondering, could we do something maybe around the quill? So I reckon it's in some way linked to my ancestry, which is linked to the solution to my magic inheritance. You don't know that I'm interested in it, but I've come to seek you out
Like the
because you
quill
have it.
he uses is the same color as the feathers
Well,
that you have,
the
or
quill.
something.
I suspect the quill is a feather of an ancestor of mine, or
Yeah,
somebody.
nice.
Yes, so I link into not necessarily the answer as such, but as a
What color is
stepping stone. So I'm blue.
It's a blue Arakukra
Just because I got
quill.
to adjust my mini.
Well, it matches your dice quite well. Like,
true.
actually, do you want to talk about that, Lindsay? You've got a whole
yes.
set of dice.
Spectacular
for this
looking set of
character.
dice.
As we've mentioned before, every time I make a new character, I buy a new set of dice. So I went and bought these lovely dices from
They are.
what are they
Gorgeous.
called, Brett? I haven't got a name on this box.
Random Encounter? No.
dice.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they're large resin, and they're purpley and bluey and glittery, and
They're like oversized.
yeah, they are big, and they're
beautiful.
really sharp.
What
edged.
are they? That would be what, 50 mil maybe as a D20?
Yeah,
something like that.
4 looks like it could murder
Looks like
someone.
an arrow.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
looks like
that's
an
what it
arrow,
looks
like a little bodkin arrowhead.
I'll have to put a photo up on the
Yeah,
socials.
yeah, we will chuck one of those up. They are a beautiful set of dice. So would that mean, okay, so the two of you, we've got Brett's character, Lindsay's character, we'll find out your names in a second, but we also have this Arakukra character who, do you know each other, or have you recently met, or
So,
is there,
yeah, recently.
or maybe this is the moment where you've set up a meeting in this place. So you've pen palled each other and you've asked to meet because you've heard talk of that, and maybe because your Arakukra nature, do you want people to know, like, I guess you're so far away from people, like if you go into a town, how do you address the world around you, like being so different, like how do you see that playing out?
Way to ask me a difficult question right off the bat, mate.
Well, it's
Can
an
I just,
important one because
first of all,
you
lean a little bit back, because I would actually, I think I want the character to have been traveling for about a week.
Yep.
I'm sounding them out. They're
Okay.
they're not overly
You're kinda
confident around me.
You're kind of like chasing the band. So as I'm traveling,
Yeah, I'm a bit of a groupie.
On a book tour, you're following.
Yeah, I'm a groupie. Yeah. If I can help it, I won't go too much and mingle because I like my space. So like when these guys are resting or whatever in towns, like some of the background says that our cuckoos will sleep on roofs and things like that because they like to be in that open area. So I try to keep my distance from people as much as possible, I think. But
Is there like I know that certain birds have a penchant for different things. Like when you come into a town, do all the blue things disappear? They're all in your nest.
no, nothing like that. No, just the children.
That's
Interestingly,
very funny.
your character doesn't want to be seen by people, and people don't want my character around.
Well, not that I don't want to be
seen.
seen, but I
that's
don't
great.
want to. Generally, if given the opportunity, I will avoid going into large groups or avoid going into enclosed areas and things like that. But obviously, if I have to, I will. I guess, yeah.
And I would think that my character's hooked up with Lindsay's character because he wants to find some place in society, and he's always been ostracised.
Yeah.
He's always been pushed out. So maybe this bard will teach him how to make
How
a
to do
friend.
that. Okay, look, I think we're actually going to jump in. I want to learn a little bit more about your physicalities and the descriptions and names and all that kind of stuff as we jump into the story. So without further delay, I think, unless anyone's got something to add that they want to go through, let's see how we go. So our story starts. In a world called Toril, deep in the Forgotten Realms on the continent of Faerun, we turn our gaze to the north near the spine of the world. Nestled in the rocky foothills of the snow-capped Sword Mountains is the mining town of Phandalin, which consists of 40 or 50 simple log buildings. Crumbling stone ruins surround the newer houses and shops, showing how this must have been a much larger town in centuries past. Phandalin's residents are quiet, hard-working folk who came from distant cities to eke out a life amid the harsh wilderness. They are farmers, stonecutters, blacksmiths, traders, prospectors, and, for the Arakukra, children. The town has no walls and no garrison, but most of the adults keep weapons within easy reach in case of the need for arms. So you get the idea that there has been a bit of warfare in this time. Visitors are welcome here, particularly if they have coin to spend or news to share. Whether folk have travelled here from nearby mining camps to exchange ore for a gold dragon piece or spend some silver bolts on a combat gear at the Lion Shed Costa or some copper thans at Barthen's Provisions. The odd roaming adventurer may seek glory at the job board outside the townmaster's hall. But one thing is for certain. In the bronzed autumn cold of the month of Elent, a warm spiced mead, steaming bowl of stew, or warm bed from the Stonehill Inn are always welcome. And we zoom in our mind's eye inside an inn, a warm, nice common room right here. The smells of roasted meats and vegetables mixed with cheery ales and mead emanate from this warm and inviting roadhouse. The common area is dominated by a large hearth with tables and booths for patrons scattered around. Drinks and food seem to be available from the short man standing behind the bar, and we zoom in to two characters who are sitting, one looking quite uncomfortable, bared in feathers, and the other cloaked a little bit in darkness or shade, sitting in one of these booths, conversing with each other, and I think in a pretty awkward way. We zoom in first, I guess, to an Arakukra character. Can you describe yourself to us, please?
So a booth, did you say? So
yeah, you're inside. So for some reason, you need to come in to eat.
Okay. Yep. So I'm so my Arakukras around about 5'10". 5'11" in height, very, very vibrant blue feathers throughout plumage, different shades across the head mostly, but very light across the wings. I'm perched on a stool rather than sitting. I'm perching.
Nice.
At the table. Sorry, what else did you this is my general demeanor. So I'm very slender looking. Obviously, one of the major problems with Arakukra is that their bones can be quite weak.
Yeah.
So very, very slender, just I would imagine if you chuck water on me and my feathers clung to me, I'd look like a stick. But
Okay.
yeah, just like kind of jerky movement of the head. So I got my eyes, while they're not fully on the side set, they are slightly forward, but I do have a very good like field of view
Peripheral.
around myself. So it doesn't matter whether I've got my back to the door or whatever, because I'm constantly moving my head left to right kind of thing, and that kind of jerky classical bird movement.
Skitsy.
Yeah, I've got I'm obviously very vigilant, looking nervous.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what is your character's name?
And my character's name is Nykrin.
Oh, spell that one.
So Neyecryn.
Wow, Nykrin.
So, yeah, one of the things I'm going to do as well for my character, the whole wrinkling something thing that I rolled on there, what I'm actually going to do is, because I've got a dragon ancestry, I've got a forked tongue.
Oh, wow.
So every time I speak,
That's very cool.
especially in common, I have to articulate my tongue in a way that allows me to speak appropriately with the common language. So every time I'm about to speak, I'll do the kind of noise to get my tongue in the right place before I speak.
Nice.
Yeah.
And male character or a female character? Or?
Male. Well, not the, it's very hard to tell one way or the other on observation unless somebody knows exactly what the anatomy they're looking for on a male and female.
Well,
because
do you lay eggs in the morning?
Well, not usually, no.
Okay.
But obviously, because I'm an unusual color, because certainly the Arakukra from my area that I would look physically look like, you don't see a blue one ever.
And what kind of beak are we talking? Are we hawk beak?
So kind of like a hawk beak. That's why. So my eyes are, like I said, are like almost forward, but not quite. They're slightly so just to get that broader view, but obviously not necessarily a predatory bird as such. Mostly living off of seed, like
bugs.
No, seeds like large plants and fruits and bits. So I think of it like I suppose more like a parrot beak, I guess. One that's for crushing large coconuts and things like that.
Hook to the thing.
Powerful beak.
And the character sitting across from you, can you describe him for us, please, Brett?
Where the Arakukra is twitchy and flighty, this is solid and immovable. This is a large, one would think a statue if you didn't know better. Hasn't moved in a long time. Just sitting there scanning. The only thing moving is his dark eyes.
Oh.
If you look
Which
at his,
you can't see anyway. Does he have pupils? Like, does there whites to the eyes?
No, it's
so
just
even though they're
dark,
moving, you can't tell.
It would just be a refraction of light going
you
across
just
the
see the
gem.
whites around his
that's so
eyes
cool.
moving around.
Yeah,
if you
that's
catch a glimpse of his hand, apart from this green viney tendril of his clan group snaking its way up his arms, he has the colour of an unpainted mini. He's that kind of grey.
Nice.
And kind
A
of
mini washed in null oil.
Yeah, right. So large, solid, kind of 250, 300 pound, kind of 6'4" massive statue, but solid and immovable.
Okay.
And not really interacting. He hasn't spent a lot of time outside of organizations that tell him what to do and how to think and where to be.
Yeah.
And he doesn't know how to interact, and he's quite awkward and looks to others to kind of do that kind of interaction for him.
What's his name?
His name is Moradius.
Moradius,
Moradius, Moradius Stoneborn.
Oh, okay. Moradius Stoneborn. So we have two characters sitting here at a bench at a booth, zooming into their interesting conversation of two probably very inept social beings. We zoom in to find their conversation, which is going to give us a little insight about who they are in a very short amount of time as they introduce themselves to the world. Eavesdropping. And all of a sudden, piercing this wonderful conversation between these two characters who obviously have very little in common. No, I guess that would be your characters
We
probably would.
both
I'm kind of wondering, actually, should I have done the pigeon thing and been perched on him and taking a shit?
Yeah. So, but I guess you
What
guys
do you
are...
do if a bird shits on your car and never take her out again?
and piercing the stony silence of these two characters talking. All of a sudden, you guys hear a ruckus from outside. You hear some voices, multiple voices that are going on a bit. And in true form, in the introduction of this person's characters, we hear a rustling at the door. The door of the Stonehill Inn opens all of a sudden, and a character bursts in. Can you please describe yourself, Lindsay?
You see about 5 foot tall, barrel-chested human with long blonde hair and a big bushy beard, and he's wearing like a bright yellow cloak. He's like,
A human? Okay.
Moradius, quick, hold the door.
I will get the door.
Jesus, my ears.
That's why he doesn't talk to me.
He has no vocal control, no volume control.
And then he gets up and just stomp, straight to the door, holds the door open. The door is open.
Close it. Shut it.
I will
Keep it
close
closed.
the door.
And so Moradius walks to the door, shuts the door. All of a sudden, some of the few patrons that are in here at this time of day, it's sort of early morning at this point, all kind of stop and start looking around. They look up from their breakfast. You see the bartender, who is a short barrel-chested guy, kind of stop what he's doing, and his brow furrows as he's like wiping up some plates, and he looks over at what's going on.
Oh, you see this burly man, he kind of slouches a bit in from his, pompous posture, and you kind of like see him kind of like shrink into himself. Oh, these bloody felons! Like, I just can't keep him thinking. And he kicks off these two like stilted legs, and then undoes his jacket to see a girdle like squishing his quite a paunchy belly into his chest. Takes off the girdle, quickly turns his jacket inside out, and pulls off a wig and shoves it in his backpack. And he's like suddenly a short halfling that was obviously wearing a very well-made disguise, and he's now wearing a green cloak, and he's got big red sideburns and no beard and red hair. Puts a green hat on and comes and sits down at the table. Quick, let him in.
I did not know how you knew my name. Open the door.
What is your character's name, Lindsay?
He is known by a few names. His actual name is J.R. Lockwood. Or
Okay.
Julius Regina Lockwood. But his nom de plume, which he is most known for, is Bilson Moon.
Love it.
He is a renowned author of romantic novels.
Any particular titles that he's known for?
All right.
Yes, he is. He's quite a few under his belt. Halflings on Horseback. How to Ride Your Dragon.
Brokeback Halfling.
A Rogue from Behind. Warlock and the Wallflower.
Oh, nice. Very nice.
And 50 Shades of Goliath.
Okay. All right. It's at that moment that Moradius, you hear at the door like a pounding kind of, and you hear voices on the other side. Oh, well, let us in, let us in. Oh, we've got it. We love him. We just want to get a signature. We just want to get a signature. And you're like as J.R. Lockwood tells you to open the door and you back away, the door opens and you see some country girls. Kind of in my mind, the image of this is about three girls that are kind of like the Cinderella story. You know, the sisters in Cinderella who are there. They're carrying books tomes in their hands, and you can see plastered on the front of them, all of them share one thing in common, and it is penned by Bilson Moon at the bottom. And they each are looking around, flushed faces. Some of them, you can tell that whatever's happened, they've prettied themselves up. Their cheeks are pinched. They've put their makeup on that almost makes them look even more garish. But as such a small town would belie, these are probably people that haven't used makeup very much, and you get the idea that these are miners' daughters from mining camps or whatever, who have taken to book reading and imagination. They burst in and they go, where is he? Oh, where is that? And they're looking around. Bilson Moon, we're looking for Bilson Moon. Where is he?
And JR, who's sitting at the table where you guys were both sitting, is like, oh, I think he went that way. You talking the big blonde fella that, muscly and all that?
Oh, he's a big boy. He's written my favourite book. Have you ever heard of Milson Boone? Let me. And she opens the book as if she's about to read some of it to you, and she said, "Wait, where did he go?"
Oh, he kind of like came bursting in here, and then he ran out the back through the kitchen.
Oh, at this point, Lindsay, we are going to have our first roll of the game. I need you to roll me what would in this game be some type of check to bluff someone.
Some type of check.
I don't know the rules of this game. It's becoming painfully obvious.
That would be a deception check.
A deception
my friend.
check, please.
Good start, guys.
Decepticons unite.
The problem was my iPad is covering the part of my screen that has all the skills on it, and I couldn't read them fast enough.
That would be a 21.
Oh, on a 21, you
good
definitely
roll,
deceive these poor young ladies once again, and you hear them bustle. They walk out. All the while, there is this poor guy behind the bar who is looking quizzically, and he's like, and then looks back at you guys and kind of smiles a little bit, and then disappears behind, kind of gives you a bit of a wink, and then disappears out the back. And you think in the style of going to fetch some breakfast or some morning food.
I could eat.
Thank you, Moradius. You have saved me once again.
I did save you.
Who's this, your friend that you're sitting with?
You know who I am. I've been.
Do I?
Yeah, I've been. I said I was
I
traveling
thought you
you
were
for the
like-
week. No.
Don't you remember me? I'm the big blue bird that's been around you for
I
a
thought
week.
he was like following, just following the crowd, not
No.
introduced himself yet.
He's quiet, but he's been with us 1 week.
So I'm too busy
it's
pruning
been-
my feathers. So I'm just there, kind of like just making sure every feather's straight. Just.
I'm done with this whole romance novel stuff. I need to find something a bit more exciting, a bit more adventurous, and not so many crazy fangirls.
When I was in the army, we called them bromances.
You would have no idea what I had to go through to get the experiences to write those novels. The amount of money I spent on prostitutes and cure disease potions.
And with that, the burly bartender comes over and he goes, "Oh, hello. Here you go. Bit of breakfast here. Lovely jubbly. Here we go. Look, what brings you guys here?"
Oh, we're just traveling through town. We're a part of the road crew for the Bilson Moon.
Bilson, who's Bilson Moon? Is that some kind of troop?
He's just an author. It's he's not that good.
He's all right.
Thank you for covering me in my hidden disguise.
Well, look, I see that kind of stuff all the time. You do not want to get those miners upset when you're messing with their daughters.
Well, yes, no, I am quite aware. Lucky most of the miners are literate. Otherwise, they wouldn't let them read that filth.
Are you going to eat that? My food's finished.
They're getting down. So, well, I guess some folk like you in here for a bit of mining. You joined up with one of the local mining companies. Is that what you're doing here? Is there a predator?
Over here.
Yeah, joining up with some of the local mining companies. Is that what you're doing here in Fandolin?
It wasn't our intention, but is there any adventure involved?
Oh, you're here for adventurers, are you?
He kind of looks at the rest of them and like,
Yes, we have adventured.
Oh, well, then you probably want to go check out that billboard outside the town hall. That seems to get all the adventures in there, but things might come up from time to time there. We've had a few guys come through over the last couple of months, and, we haven't seen much of them since they've departed, but I can't tell you really what happened to them.
well, thank you very much. We might check that out. As he kind of drifts away, I'd be like, what do you say, Moradius and Icon? Do you want to join me on an adventure? I have a wonderful idea for it.
I thought I was just here as stationary.
This is brilliant.
No, I thought because I'm going to be providing the quills, right?
I thought you wanted my
I
quill.
want your quill, but I'm here in the guise of maybe you're stationary. It just occurred to me then that might be a way
I mean,
around.
I'm quite happy with the quill I've got, but if you have one that you think will do well, I'm happy to give it a test for you. Maybe we could set some sort of business arrangement out.
This one looks like a good one.
I want to find I want to write about, great epic sagas. But I'm really good at writing from experience. So how about we, I have a list here of, good fantasy story tropes and ideas, like rescue a princess, slay a dragon.
Which one starts with job board outside the town master's hall?
Well, how about we find out? Maybe there's one to slay rats. Apparently that's a common way to get started as an adventurer. Yes, slaying rats in a tavern is very common is what I've heard. What?
I should have gone for a Peregrine Falcon crew, right?
The innkeeper comes back to you in a little while with another plate of food and some
What is
more
the
mead.
food? What is the food?
It's just like a breakfast gruel, I guess it would be. Yeah, because it's early in the morning, so some nice gruel. It's flavored with a bit of honey inside of it. It's it's just mashed up oats and that kind of stuff.
Okay, so I kind of Nycrin kind of looks at that and then pulls out something that looks a little bit like a mango and starts tearing the skin off of that and eating that.
Moradius grabs your bowl. I will eat it. Yum.
Yeah, and he says, "Well, so tell us more about yourself. Where you come from?"
I wrote this down and I forgot that piece of paper. Originally, I come from High Hold, I believe it was.
Hi ho!
No, originally it was Tribal. High Hold is where I've been studying my bardic craft. That's right.
Sorry, did you say Tribal?
Tribal, yes.
That's where I'm from.
Really, it is quite near here.
So you've travelled all the way from the east, and you've come over here from Tribal. It says, "Oh, pleased to meet you. My name's Toblin. Which part of Tribal are you from?"
Well, it's a very small town, so pretty much, we probably knew each other. Well, how old does he look?
Tribal is not a small town.
Tribal's a small town. Well, from when I read it in Adventure Path, it was a small town.
Just so you know, native of the town of Tribal.
Because in Tales of Phandalin, it's like the crossroad town, and it's all taverns and stuff. So,
I'm from Jondath. Are you from there too?
No, I'm from Tribal. What? Well met, guys. Okay, I've just got to ask a question. Look, this is mate. You are not something I've seen around here very often. Tell us about you. You got to have a story.
I'm a bard.
At that point, he pulls out a stool and just like plonks himself down at the table. And he grabs one of the jugs and he starts drinking out of it, one of the mead jugs that he's dropped on the table for you. He goes, "Tell us a story. You got to have a story and a half, don't you?
JR.
What's your name?" And he's he's addressing himself straight at the giant blue bird that's at the table. It's like, you guys can see this too, right?
JR, knowing what he's doing, but can't help but be the center of attention. Goes,
Nice.
Well, let me tell you.
Nice.
We once first met Nycrin on about a week ago, I think it was. I don't know what that is in bird years. But he was just traveling around, and he took quite an interest in me. And I mean, who wouldn't? I'm such a renowned author, and I've been so many places and done so many things with people. See, I've gone from Miles, who never got laid, to a guy that's just over it now.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was just, he was just following us around. I'm like, I also wanted to know what he was like. I'm like, Nycrin, you're a bird, man. And he has this interest in me and my quill, and I'm like, I don't really understand why. Like, he's got plenty of quills of his own.
So they call you a Birdman, do they?
Harvey Birdman.
My name is Nycrin. I'm from Sirocco Colony. Sirocco, yeah.
Where's that then?
In Anaruk.
Where's that then?
Here in Faerun.
Fair call. Fair call. So what brings you away from your people?
Oh, I decided to travel. I'd heard such great things of this fantastic writer. I wondered if I could help him pen a masterpiece with one of my quills.
Oh, is that something that your people like? A bit of a badge of honor, if you will?
Not usually, no.
Oh, well, okay. Are there others of yours?
Not to my knowledge in this region, no.
Oh, wow. Well, you are unusual. Like, do you gather people's attention?
Usually I keep my distance from people.
What an interesting party you have. And it's kind of at that time he first notices the stone man who's standing or sitting very still now that he's eaten all of his food. I guess you've gone back to statue mode. And he's like, and you're also an interesting character. Be traveling with I don't want to be offensive here, but a bird man and an halfling.
Yes.
Where are you hail from?
No, not Hale. I came from the sunny coast. The Condath.
Oh, from Chondath.
Well, not from there, but that's where I was brought up.
Okay.
Lindsay's done. Luke laid an egg.
Oh, fuck. Cry.
I was in the military in Condath.
You were a military man, are you?
Yep.
Right, look, I guess you're here for adventuring reasons.
Yep.
Is that right? Well, I could tell you something. And he kind of leans into you and he kind of expects all of you to lean in at the same time. And he kind of grabs his drink and he brings it up to his mouth kind of conspiratorially. And he says to you, I heard a rumor recently.
Wait. And JR rummages in and gets out a book and his quill. He brings out this large quill that's like an iridescent blue with like kind of almost like sparkles in it. And he's like ready to write it down.
Some folk claim that they've seen a dragon flying through the high clouds. At that distance, it's hard to gauge a creature's size, a creature with the might and strength of a dragon. But some say it's as big as an elephant, with gleaming white scales, and it'll eat you right up if you're in the wrong spot. That might be something for adventurers like yourselves to investigate.
That is on my list of experiences I want to experience. Number 7, slay a dragon.
Only number 7?
Yes.
Are you writing with the quill?
Yes.
Okay. I am fixated on you right now.
Are you
As you should
Which,
be.
I was going to say, which you're probably used to, right?
Are you whispering because dragons hear very well?
I'm sorry?
You were whispering.
Well, it's a bit of a, as they say, a rumour.
Who says?
They say,
Who are they?
all the people. If I don't want to give up some of my sources, if you know, nudge, nudge, wink.
I don't have sauce. I had 3 breakfasts. I am fine.
Is intelligence your dump stat by any chance?
And charisma.
So he makes a bit of small talk with you, and over the time, like, you know, he would talk to you about the elements of the town. He starts talking to you about this is the time of every week the miners tend to come in and they like to visit the Fandalan Miners Exchange so they can get their ore and they can exchange their ore for money, at which point they usually visit him and they go to the general store, which is Barthen's Provisions, and spend up pretty big around there. It's been quite a while since he's seen any adventurers come through. It's been probably about a month or 2 at least since the last adventurers have wandered through this area. What you guys know of this area is that it is rife for people adventuring through the Sword Coast, through Neverwinter Woods, which is right next door, through the mountains that you have right near here as well. So there are adventurers that would seek fame and fortune all through these woods. And even if you look at Fandolin gives you the impression that once it was much larger than it is now. Something has happened to this town and it's now being rebuilt. So it looks like some of the buildings are only 3 or 4 years old. So it's only very recently that this town has started to get reinvested into, if that makes sense.
Can we have a room?
Of course you can. That will be 5 silvers.
We both look at the happily.
I could probably do you one better than 5 silvers.
And what's that say?
I can bring you more customers.
And how would you do that?
As I said, I am a bard of some renown. Even if I don't go by my nom de plume, I'm sure I can entice people in with a daring story or a lovely song.
His eyes kind of light up a bit, and it's a song, you say, renowned, you say. I could put up a poster saying that we have the renowned author Bilson Moon here. That's what you called yourself, wasn't it?
Maybe we go away from that. What kind of people do they like here? What kind of things do they like? I know most of this town is a bit illiterate, so would music be better?
He kind of gets a little bit offensive when you say
that. He
waves
his hand and summons a lute.
Yeah, he gets a little offensive when he says, "Are you talking tales? Well, bawdier the better."
Okay, well, I can do that. I know one of Dicky Dido with hairs hanging down to her knees. There's one white one, one black one with a bit of shade on.
I've got to go outside and make gravel.
What time of day is it?
Morning.
Okay. Well, yeah, you start spreading the word and we'll come back at 9. We'll perform.
Oh, and he starts, you can see, he bustles out and you can see him start to look around where he can start moving tables and make a bit of a performance space. And you see him start, moving bits and pieces, and he walks back to the kitchen. You can hear some loud noises of a female who's obviously cooking back there. And, he's obviously a little bit excited, and you start hearing whispering, and all of a sudden there's people, a lady walks out, and you hear the chittering of ladies in the background going, and it sort of fades away a little bit, leaving you guys back to your own devices.
So if I'm performing as Bilson Moon, then I'm going to need some security just tonight. So just so you're aware, Moradius.
No problem.
I don't know if you were able to help with that at all, Nikrin, but...
Maybe you could G up the crowd.
G up?
Make them excited.
Did you say excited?
Oh, we don't want to do that with my kind of stories. They get pretty excited as it is. We don't want them, blowing all their money too early.
So my character's already thinking this is going to be a venue that's going to be full of people, so I'm likely going to be on the roof.
Let's go check
out. Hang on, is there rafters? Are there rafters in there? Like, is it a high-roofed facility? So can I go into the rafters?
The second story is actually where all the rooms are. So it's a stone building with rooms in the second story.
A banister with a rail going up that I could perch on.
You can probably
away
find
from
a
the crowd.
perch.
Yeah, cool.
Inside the room.
A small problem. I think I broke another chair.
Well, that's okay. I'm sure we can cover it with tonight's performance.
Did you say that there was a board at the back or somewhere with the...
Yes.
Yeah. So my Crin's going to go out and have a look at that because he's been piqued by the interest of the rumour of the dragon.
Yeah.
To the Townmaster's Hall.
Yeah, let's go check out this board. And he's still writing in his book as he walks.
You exit the Stonehill Inn, walking a few moments down the road to the Townmaster's Hall. The Townmaster Hall has a sturdy stone wall and a pitched wooden roof with a bell tower at the back that looks very nice for a perch. The job board next to the front door features sparse number of notices, at the moment 3 in total, all written in common and in the same hand. And you can inspect those notices. You can also see that the Townmaster's door is right there as well. If you would like to try and get inside the Townmaster's area, but you can see that there's a couple of notices. So the first one reads like this: Dwarf prospectors have found ancient dwarven ruins in the mountains southwest of here and have been working on an archaeological dig seeking treasure and relics. They need to be warned that a white dragon has moved into the area. Take the warning to them, then return to the Townmaster Harbin Wester to collect a reward of 50 GP. The second one states this: a clan of reclusive rock gnomes resides in a small network of caves in the mountains to the southeast. The gnomes of Gnomengard are known for their magical inventions, and they might have something with which to defeat the dragon. Get whatever you can from them. If you bring back something useful and don't want to keep it for yourselves, Townmaster Harbin Wester will pay you 50 GP for it. And the third and last of the notices says, the local midwife, an acolyte of Chauntier named Adabra Gwyn, lives by herself in a stone windmill on the side of a hill a few miles south of Phandalin. With dragon sightings becoming more common, it's not safe for her to be alone. Urge Adabra to return to Phandalin. Once she's safe, visit the Townmaster Harbour and Wester to claim a reward of 25 GP. These are the 3 quests that are currently sitting up there.
I think we should warn the midwife.
These are all fantastic. Literally all 3 of these are on my list. Well, the gnome one's a bit sketchy, but I have doing mundane tasks for people too lazy to do it. That's a common thing I've read in adventure stories and stuff. So that's on my list. That's like number 3. And rescue a damsel in distress. Warning the midwife, she's clearly a damsel. And if there's a dragon flying around, I'm sure she's in distress. What?
I did not say anything.
Yes, the midwife.
And so the 3 adventurers take up the tale of the midwife, and we'll find out what happens with that one next time.
That was the only one that had no caves. It's like, my guy's not going to want to go down any caves.
It's 10 a.m. I need to make gravel.
Which end does that come out of?
Still humanoid.
Do you have a cloaca like?
No.
Gee, that's better. 2 for 2 for 2. 2 for 2.
Oh, fuck him. Get him out of here.
That's me fucking car keys.
Still a correctney.
Have it as a Mars bar, some Aussie crib. I keep my teeth in a jar beside the bed.
You two really fucking listen to that.
Yeah, I listened the shit out of that when I was younger. Absolutely.
Jesus.
It is absolutely sensational.
It's sensational.
Sorry.